Alrighty, let's see. Hello, welcome to the Newsfloor. It's Val. Did you guys miss me? I'm gonna kick off saying hello to the squad. My background looks a little different, and I know I've been gone for 2 weeks because I've been moving into this fun bookshelf little land that you'll now see me in. So hopefully you've missed me and the Newsfloor. But we're back with a fun episode today. I decided I wanted to kick off by playing this tune by Naela featuring Tough Ghost, which is, I don't actually know how to pronounce this, so I'm not going to try, but you can see it on the screen right over here. That's how you pronounce it. I want to play this tune because this is a song that I actually supported of Naela's back when I was at Mixmag a couple of years ago. And I remember that I really liked the vibe of this song, and it wasn't, I don't think the first that I've heard from her, but it was one of the first that she had kind of sent to me. Naela is a Los Angeles-based DJ who is going to be DJ and producer and singer, I should say. She's not simply just a DJ. And she's going to be joining us in a little bit for a conversation. She's celebrating the release of her new EP and debut on Dirty Bird, so it's going to be really fun to chat with her and learn a little bit more about that. But of course, before we get into that, we are obviously going to talk about news and stuff that is happening in the world of dance music. I know I've been gone for a little bit, and it has been a busy week, I would like to say, for dance music. And we kind of have to start with the Grammys because the Grammys happened this weekend. For those who didn't tune in, we are about to get into a recap right about now. So I think it was honestly a really fun Grammy season for dance music artists. This was the 63rd annual Grammy Awards. It happened on Sunday, and it was a bit different than usual because I think we're all pretty familiar with how the Grammys usually work, where it is, you know, a bunch of really famous people and celebrities show up to the Staples Center in LA. I want to say it's hosted at the Staples Center, but somewhere in LA, and, you know, everyone's looking all fabulous and great. But this time, of course, we're still in COVID times, even though we are starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. But this time the Grammys did a distance ceremony. And I actually honestly really liked the Grammy style this time way better than previously because the performances were all, very well pre-produced and set up to succeed for the TV format. We saw some really awesome performances from artists like Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, Harry Styles, Dua Lipa, all of the big stars of today. And they were really amazing. I think everyone was primed and ready to put on their best performance. Oh, hey, Johnny. What's up? Welcome to the Newsfloor. But yeah, the Grammys was great. It was really fun to watch. And it was also really exciting to see some of the people that took awards home. Obviously, still, the dance and electronic categories are not broadcast live on the primetime TV broadcast, but they are announced in the beginning. And Kaytranada was the big winner this season. He won big with his most recent album, Bubba. And honestly, after I watched the Grammys this weekend, I was playing Bubba just like while I was working. And it's such a good album, like such strong vibes. But Kaytranada has always been really good, even with his first album. But he actually took home the Best Dance and Electronic Album Award and the Best Dance Recording for 10%, his song with Kali Uchis. And this makes him the first Black artist to ever win the category, and also the first openly gay producer to win, which is huge. I think a lot of the articles that were pointing this out after the fact, after he won, we're celebrating this because, I mean, it is definitely long overdue for a Black artist to win in these categories because, as any house and techno fan will know, it is Black artists that, you know, were the backbone of a lot of these genres that really helped to establish dance music, EDM, whatever it is, to what it is today and now. So big win for Kaytranada. Congrats to him. He was nominated against Arca, Madeon, Disclosure, and Bauer. So actually some awesome other talents in there as well. But Kaytranada was the big winner, which was awesome. There was also another highlight from the Grammys. of course, it was, Queen Bee, Beyonce. She made history as the woman with the most Grammy wins across the entire awards show ever. She now has 28 wins, and she broke that record with her win of the best R&B performance with Black Parade. So big season for Black artists. Go Kaytranada and go Beyonce. So awesome. Did any of you guys in the chat tune in to the Grammys and watch? Did you guys have any favorite performances? Because I think if I had to pick, mine would probably be Megan Thee Stallion. She was really good. And she also, it was my favorite moment when she won and was like holding hands with Beyonce on stage. Mike, your favorite was WAP. It was actually really funny to see Cardi B and Megan doing the TV safe version of WAP, because it was still pretty racy, honestly, but like in the best way. So that was a really good one. All right, moving on to the next piece of news. As you guys know, we always talk about what is going on in the live event space. And I feel like, I was just saying this to someone else earlier, this week feels like we are on the brink of, the end of this dark COVID time with live events. It feels like this week, with people getting vaccinated and festivals starting to announce, it feels like there's hope at the end of this dark tunnel. And potentially we could be back out, maybe enjoying a festival, maybe enjoying a real life show by fall, which is pretty crazy. I wonder if you guys think that we will be able to do that. And if so, what festival, what show is going to be your first show? It's time to start thinking about that. I want to know what you guys are thinking. But as far as news goes, venues have launched a nationwide #1YearDark awareness campaign. So this is coordinated by the National Independent Venue Association, which of course is NIVA. And the campaign calls on venues to post and share this #1YearDark phrase on their marquee boards and social media accounts, to remind people that, live music is still being hit really hard and, being forced to close, obviously still awaiting to see what the transition back to live in real life is going to be like. I know there's a lot of talk about like how events will deal with, is it going to be like a half capacity show, and if you can even make money and profit off of a half capacity show in like a huge venue. And also, are we going to be requiring attendees to show their vaccine certifications? It's all kind of a gray, murky area right now. So it's going to be a couple months of experimentation to see how this goes. So it's been 12 months without revenue for independent venues, and many are hopeful now about reopening. But, according to press, the recent pandemic relief funding passed by Congress and allocates $1.25 billion for concert venues, but those funds have actually not been distributed yet. So the industry is, waiting to receive that to be able to move forward. So be on the lookout if you see these #1YearDark photos and campaigns being shared by your favorite venues. Do them a solid. I don't know how to best support them. Maybe it's sending a donation. Maybe it's buying a gift card if they offer gift cards, whatever it might be. Try your best to support your local venues. I'm seeing somebody talking about pod concerts. I haven't actually been to one of those before. I know that a couple friends of mine have tried out the drive-in concerts to see how that works, which is similarly a pod that you kind of are stuck in like a little fenced-in area. I haven't been to those yet, but I understand they look pretty well done, as far as I know that Insomniac here in California has been doing it. And I know that Disco Donnie has been doing it out in Texas and other parts of the US. So I haven't been to one. I'm curious what people think about them. I mean, I guess they're kind of like a good in the meantime solution, right? Who knows? All right, this next story is a really fun one. I like to throw in these fun little stories where I can. So somebody has built a working DJ deck made out of Legos. which is adorable, honestly. So this is a little clip of what it looks like, and I actually have a video so I can show you guys a little bit about how this thing came together. But this was put together by a musician and an artist who has a really funny name. His name is Look Mum No Computer, but his real name is Sam Battle. And he actually put together this working DJ deck. And you can kind of see in the video here, it's crazy. I wonder how many pieces, actually, I know how many pieces he used. I wrote it down here. So 4,000 bricks make up the outer case. 4 motors control the rotation of the platters. And there's also sample pads hooked up for sound effects. So it's a working thing. And this whole campaign, I guess, was put together to promote Lego Mindstorms, which is a programmable robotic system designed to work with Lego products, which I had no idea that was even a thing for Legos to be working on. So apparently Legos are very high tech nowadays. It's very different than what we were used to back in the day when we were literally just building like castles and whatnot. I'm going to turn the audio on so we can hear this guy putting this thing together because it looks pretty fascinating.
There's a number of different ways that vinyl players actually spin. There's a belt drive, which is controlled by a belt, and there's direct drive, which is controlled by just a big motor. I have a feeling because we've got to get it scratching, we can't use a belt because there's just not enough tension in a Lego belt. So
I'm also loving his outfit, by the way. His cheetah print overall is really doing it for me.
To control the whole vinyl player. I really hope I can make a working vinyl player, or I'm going to look like quite a fool. Let's see if it spins a vinyl, shall we? This right here is the stylus. It reads the groove.
This is both like simultaneously really low and high tech looking because it's like hilariously like chunky and silly with the Legos, but also like. Look at him go. Look at all these Lego pieces.
The test setup is here. I'm just going to put the cartridge onto the vinyl and see what happens.
Oh.
Yeah, I think this is backwards.
He does kind of look like a young... He's like the music nerd Bill Nye. Or third member of Sophie Tucker, also possible, with his crazy patterns and colors.
We've got 2 motors for added strength and smoothness.
You know what? He has that kind of like excited talk.
So after a little bit of trial and error,
a fun science fact or something like that, which I appreciate.
Stronger, and it is a heck of a lot more playable. Right, the motor assembly is in there. Now we've just got to cover it with some nice colours. This is the top where the turntable spins on top of. It's got to be smooth because it's got to be scratched on top of.
How long do we think this took him? I mean, just even building that like that part, that like DJ deck section, because you have to think about like the pattern of the colors and stuff. His whole vibe is Desert Hearts and Bill Nye. Like, will we see him on the Desert Hearts Twitch channel shortly? Very possible. Definitely possible. Oh wow, look, he got like a custom piece for... Whoa. Okay. This is some high-tech stuff right here.
This is another integral piece to the DJ decks. It's the crossfader. It's the part that chooses between the left deck and the right deck.
Look at that. Looks like the Insomniac logo.
So, yeah, nearly finished on the Lego cladding over the mixer section. After this,
I see what you mean. Insomniac logo kind of looks like an eye, right?
This right
like
here
a swirly eye.
It receives the signals from the 2 turntables and it mixes them together with the sample pads, which have beat bits on.
I honestly wasn't even really planning to watch this whole video, but now I'm like really invested. I just want to know. Where's his booking email? Well, Johnny, his artist name is Look Mum No Computer. So if you want to hit him up.
It's done. That was a pretty long build, I've got to be honest, but check it out.
Wow, look at that.
All right, let's get this sent off to LLAMA.
Okay. Oh, he got a special Legos carrying pack. I like that. Did he include the sync button? Oh my god, look at him go. Look at him go. I don't know why there's a weird fuzzy helmet on. I think we could have done without the funny cat head. Oh, that's not a cat. I don't know what that animal is. A camel? Okay. All right. Scratch guy. Haters will say it's a pre-recorded set. Wow. Okay. I'm into that. That was highly entertaining. I also agree. Like I mentioned, I wasn't actually planning on watching that whole video, but fascinating character, honestly. That was really, really interesting. So yeah, so that guy's name is Look Mum No Computer. I don't know. Are there future plans for this Lego DJ deck? I want to know. Are people actually going to play on it in the future? I like to look at his little sample buttons. We got little cute cat things. Anyways, that was really fun. I thought that news was a nice lighthearted way to end things off. You know, like I mentioned, I like adding in the fun news when we can. Okay, next up, let's dive into some of the new music that came out this week. There is some good stuff as usual. We have a brand new song to share from Charlotte Adigéry. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. The song is called Bear With Me, in parentheses, and I'll bear it all for you. And before I get to talking about it further, we actually have a little clip from her. So without further ado.
Hello, Lost Resort TV. My name is Charlotte Adigéry. What's your name?
I'm Bolis Supu.
Thank you so much for featuring our latest single called Bear With Me and I'll Stand There Before You. The song was written during lockdown and is also about lockdown. It's about our insecurities as an artist, but also as a human being, for example. What it is also about is
Dolphins in Venice. Bye.
Okay, that was both confusing and adorable all at the same time. But yes, the track is called Bear With Me and I'll Bear It All For You. Let me hit play so we can start listening to it. It is a really lovely tune. It's the first release actually from a forthcoming compilation from Dewey, which is Soulwax's label. So highly acclaimed label. Obviously, it's going to be a wonderful compilation, and it's actually celebrating the 50th release on the label. The track is out today. I should say the compilation is out today. And Charlotte Adigéry is a Caribbean Belgian artist, and it was actually created by her partner, Bolis Pupel, who was also in the video doing the funny faces. And they created this in lockdown. They wanted this to kind of talk about the intimacy and the vulnerability of confinement. So I think it just goes to show that we're going to be seeing a lot of amazing music coming out of this period of producers and talents being stuck inside. So this is her first new release since her 2019 breakout EP called Xandal. So finally, she's back. I can't believe it's already 2021. I thought for a second, I was like, oh, it's only 1 year ago, 2019. But no, that was 2 years ago now. So this is the track, Bear With Me.
But then again, what about music? I'm scared you'll forget my name. I can't help feeling so hopeless. Live streams weren't part of the dream. Bear with me and I'll stand there before you. Bear with me and I'll stand there before you. Bear with me and I'll stand there before you. Bear with me and I'll stand there before you. Will you forget about me? Won't you forget about me? Oh, will you bear with me? Won't you bear with me?
This is a vibey track.
Yes, that is what I need. Bear with me and I'll
It honestly kind of has like some soul-waxy undertones in there, so I see why it's a good fit for the label. So if you haven't checked out the compilation yet, go check it out because it is out today. All right, so without further ado, I am really excited because I see our special guest hanging in here in the backstage area. So I'm going to bring her in. For those who are not familiar, please give your virtual applause for the one and only Naela. Woo, there she is.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
Good. Just working. Just doing all the things.
Yeah. So I want to give the people watching a little bit of an intro on you. I feel like, honestly, anyone who is familiar with the Lost Resort universe probably has come across you, because I like to think that a lot of the fans here, same crossover of fans of Dirty Bird, and like maybe some of them live in LA as well. Like I already see somebody in the chat shouting you out, going, "Steph!"
Oh. Hi, Andrew. I see that person. I know him.
Exactly. Hey, Andrew. But you are someone that I have actually known in LA for several years, which I know we were talking a little bit earlier about how we haven't seen each other in person for so long. But I was like thinking about it going into this interview, and I was like, I honestly haven't even really like sat down with you to learn about like your beginning and your roots and all that stuff. So I know that you've been in LA for several years, but you also kind of like split your time between Miami as not only a DJ, but also a producer and also a singer. So before we get into like all of this fun stuff that you're up to, I'd love to just kind of have you talk me through, when did you first, get interested in music, and which came first? Was it the producing, was it the singing, or was it the DJing?
Actually, the vocal stuff came first. But that's like not even really part of like the public story. I was actually just like in college. I'd already been like kind of involved in the underground scene in Miami at that point, because I went to college in Miami. And I was really into K-Tronada, so I would take his like music and then I would do like vocals over them. But I wasn't very confident in my vocals at that point. So I didn't do anything. I like put it on SoundCloud, I think, and then I took it down. But then it was through like working within the event scene that I basically started DJing. And then from there, I was basically told, like, if you want to keep DJing and you want to make this a career, you need to start releasing music. So I was like, all right, challenge accepted. And so I kind of went down that path.
Wow.
And then naturally, I guess, like, I just felt like in Miami, I had reached a limit in like my ability to like learn from other artists. I didn't really like know anyone over there. And so I like made this decision to go back to LA, which is where I was originally from, and like see if I could like learn from other people in the industry and get to know more about the scene. And that's kind of how I ran into you. I met you like probably like the first year I moved there.
Oh,
2015.
wow. I didn't even realize that you were so new to LA at that point. For some reason, I thought you had been in LA for a long time, but I guess that's just a testament to how present you are as far as just being a DJ that's out and about on the scene, playing at all the right parties and all the right festivals and stuff. So tell me a little bit, you're one of those people I feel like that is considered like a backbone artist of the LA underground, the LA scene, like I mentioned, like playing at all these really amazing parties that some of our friends are putting on, and also playing across festivals. But you're also a regular of Miami, which you mentioned you spent a couple years there, figuring out the scene, both in college and afterwards. So pre-COVID, obviously you were kind of splitting your time pretty regularly across the two cities. What would you say are the main differences between the local scenes in LA and Miami?
Well, Miami is definitely smaller. You are operating with very few people who are throwing some of the better events. We have David Sinopoli, who is like legendary out there, but outside of him and his crew, it's just not that many people. So, the opportunities they're just not that many. So you're working within like a very small group of people. Whereas with LA, I just felt like there's just so many people doing so many great things. So you can always stay busy and continue to kind of play different shows and learn from different artists, learn from different sounds. I know like when I met like Richie Panic, that changed my whole life. I was like, oh, this is the cool shit. This is what I want to be doing. And, you know, there's Understated, which is where Andrew's from. That they throw amazing warehouse parties as well. And it's like different sounds. And yeah, so there's just more, I think, opportunity to play and learn and grow your community in Los Angeles, whereas like it's more tight knit and exclusive in Miami.
Oh, interesting. I guess just being from LA, it sometimes can feel really small being like part of the music industry here, that I would think that Miami would almost be more widespread and like there's so many clubs and a big nightlife scene over there. But you're totally right in that at least I think in LA there's way more of like a DIY feel. Like people, like a lot of people we know, they just come together and they're like, hey, I want to put on a cool party night, and they just do it, and all of a sudden it's like a big industry wide thing. So, you know, this year obviously has been different as far as for any DJ, any performer. You have kept really busy, I would say, from at least from my perspective, just watching you operate on social media and obviously with all of your big, exciting announcements now. But talk to me a little bit about how the past year has been for you. You know, have you been producing a bunch? How have you been using the COVID time?
Yeah, so around February, when we weren't even really sure what COVID was, it was still kind of this like, is it real? Are people really just like dropping in like China right now, just like to the floor? There were all those crazy videos, right?
Yeah.
So like before that even was even a thought, I was like in talks with Claude Von Stroke and Dirty Bird about finding ways to collaborate, because I had this like very weird underground thing going on. And right when the pandemic hit, Claude Von Stroke emailed me and he's like, well, now's a good time to produce everything you need to produce. And I was like, oh, okay, this is actually like a good idea. So
That's good advice.
yeah, so through the next year, basically, I was just producing as much as possible, and then I would just send everything to him, and he'd be like, yes to this, no to this, and that's just kind of how he like A&R'd basically the project.
Wow.
And then TV Party just came about naturally. I was looking at old pictures and videos of me playing like warehouses, like Lights Down Low and stuff, and I was like, man, I really like miss that. So I hit up Richie Panic and I was like, let's just start doing live streams. And we brought Understated on for the first few ones. And then Dirty Bird saw what we were doing and was like, yeah, why don't we bring that onto our channel? So just through that and then through production, it turned into like a year of like fine tuning everything and getting really refined with both my like personal sound and the sounds of and the types of music I was going to be playing, which is still pretty like open format-y, but it's like underground and it has a specific like soundscape, I guess. And all of that was possible because, you know, I wasn't out partying and I wasn't, you know, playing for crowds. And so I felt like I was doing it for me instead of for like other people, I guess, at parties. And that's what allowed me to get more like creative and intuitive and really listen to like what I like, versus like trying to people please, I guess, which would be like the old habits, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's actually a really interesting perspective because I feel like all of us have heard, you know, the kind of sadness of DJs who are like, oh, like it's so hard to play a live stream alone because like I miss the crowd to like feedback off of. But you're kind of saying the exact opposite of like you were able to just focus on like, okay, what is it that I want to play, or like what do I want to sound like or experiment with, maybe even in your sets, which is awesome because I feel like from what I've seen, TV Party has really grown into a really awesome program on Dirty Bird's channel. I feel like I've tuned in regularly a couple times and seen a variety of different artists. So tell me a little bit about like how you decide bringing in your special guests and all that.
A lot of them are just like locals that I feel are being very honest artistically with themselves. And then people that I've just discovered online that I feel like that are pretty, that are also just really cool. I mean, for instance, I came across like the drummer for Red Axes and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to DJ TV Party. I love your band. And so it's been stuff like that. I mean, I definitely stick with like underdogs, I think. But I mean, we've had people like Amtrak. We had Uffy for the Women in Music and DJ Holographic. Those are really awesome artists as well. Uffy played an amazing set. It was iconic.
Throwback. Yeah, I think her song was definitely my MySpace song back in the day.
Right? I love her. But yeah, I don't know. It's, I guess it's just like based off who I respect within like the local LA scene, and then just other people outside of the scene that I've come across that I'm like, you're cool. You know, so it was a mix of the two.
That's amazing. I see someone here in chat said, still can't get over that Uffy mix. OMG.
It was so crazy. She did like a throwback hits of like indie electro to hip hop to current hip hop to like dubstep. It was just chaos, but it was so good. She played Nirvana at one point. The entire, like, if you tried to rewatch that episode, it's like completely blocked out because Twitch was like, no, these are all songs that are like too popular, but they were great.
But I'm sure live it was an absolute vibe, which is kind of funny because I definitely have not kept up with Uffy, but that doesn't surprise me that she would just be like a melting pot of like all the things that we grew up on sort of thing from the MySpace era.
Totally. It was like a MySpace set and it was so good. Everyone was just like, we were getting like amnesia from just her switching the songs, and it was just like
is this a fever dream? But like, it's so fun. I love this. I love that so much. I hope, I mean, it looks like a lot of people in the chat actually are probably fans and maybe even friends of yours. So I don't know if anyone in chat has any other questions, but if you want to drop them in there, I will tee them up to our gal Naela. But okay, let's talk about your big news, which of course is your new EP. It's called Psychic Attack, which is also excitingly your big debut on Dirty Bird. It's super fun to hear you talking about, you know, like it's apparently behind the scenes, Claude Von Stroke was like already kind of guiding you along and supporting you throughout the making of this project. But yeah, just talk to me throughout about like how you started piecing together this EP, what was going through your head when you were producing the songs.
So I wrote, like, honestly, I probably wrote like 150 to 200 ideas before I settled on those two. Sun is Hot was actually the first song I wrote, and I wrote it in like May of last year, like right before the protests, I think. And I was living in this like really cave-like downtown LA loft. I had like no windows except for like this balcony, and the balcony faced a courtyard. So we would only get sunlight for like 10 minutes. And I was just sitting there at my desk at my like little studio, and I was staring out at the sun, and I wrote Sun is Hot because I was like looking at the sun and being like, is it me or is it getting hotter? And I think I had been listening to No Regular Play or something, and like, do you feel endangered? I think, I forgot. It's like, do you feel endangered? Like your life is missing love, that song. And so I was listening to that, and then I just like was looking at the sun, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to write about something. And it's never planned. It's kind of just like, I just train of thought, and then I land on something. So I started writing it, and I was like, you know, this is like kind of like global warming. At that time, I was kind of feeling helpless. I think I was like reading some sort of news article, and I was feeling like, man, I just feel like I can't do anything. So that's kind of what that song's about, is like, it's hotter, it's getting hotter. I can't help. I don't know how to cool it down. What am I going to do? You know, I feel the pressure of like everything happening. And then it was also kind of like a bridge song from like some of my older work that was more indie down tempo into like a more Dirty Bird sound. So that was like the first one. And then as I kept like developing the project, around, I think I would say like September, October is when I wrote Psychic Attack. And I was sitting in a again, like it's one of those things where I look at external settings, and then I pick like a topic based on what I'm looking at. So in the studio for that, I looked at the mixing board, and I saw the attack on the mixing board, and I was like, attack. And I was listening to the beat, and I was like, attack, okay. And again, at that time, we were like in the midst of like media chaos. Like the news was kind of just like causing everyone to be in like a frenzy and so anxious all the time. So I was like, yeah, we're under a psychic attack. We're all just like going into a state of psychosis here. And I just was like spitting ideas. And that's kind of how I wrote the lyrics for that one. Just personal experience, how I was feeling. Like I was like losing my sense of reality. I was like, I don't know what's real anymore. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah,
and I was feeling really like, yeah, very crazy. So, and that's how that song came about. And then I guess like also at that same studio, we had this like Emu Orbit 909 dance synth. It's like an old school 90s dance synth. And the stabs in that song are from this like vintage dance synth that my friend had randomly. Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
that's a fun look into your process. I like that you're kind of a narrative first songwriter, producer. I was thinking about it a lot, you know, watching your music video and listening to the lyrics of Psychic Attack, and I was like, this definitely feels like very relatable with the words that you're saying, because I think we're all still recovering, I guess, from 2020 as a whole year in general, but definitely like the craziness of lose Naela, or is it just my Wi-Fi?
I don't know.
Technical difficulties.
Am I good? Are you good?
Okay, I'm back. You're back. It might be my Wi-Fi, but I can hear you now. So sorry about that.
Okay.
But I was saying that, you know, your lyrics and the message behind Psychic Attack were so relatable. And I also want to talk about, you know, like when I was listening to the track for the first time, I felt like just even having a few conversations with you, your voice was immediately recognizable as the vocals on the track. But talk to me about that. You know, have you always vocals on the track? Is that something new for you?
No, it's new. So I know like a lot of articles wrote about my first EP saying that I did the vocals on that or something like that. I didn't. Those were all vocalists that I found, including Telepathy. The only reason they're not credited is because the singer from Telepathy, she was releasing something that same month that we were releasing it. And so she's like, oh, could you just not put my name? It's gonna be too confusing. And I was like, sure. But then I was like, wait, now I'm just gonna, everyone's gonna think that's my vocals if I have only that one. So then I was just like, okay, everyone's name is getting taken off. It'll be just like it'll be like a concept piece. But at that time I had been going to like singing lessons for like a year before I actually even started using my vocals in my own music. And then I started using them, and it was weird. It was when I stopped going to singing classes that I actually ended up starting to feel more confident. I think I was like, okay, I'm not like a opera singer, so I'm gonna find a way to make my vocals work for these tracks.
Right. It's like taking the training wheels off. Sometimes you just got to do it, right?
Yeah. I had to do it, and I had been listening to a lot of LCD Sound System and James Murphy and his delivery, and I was like, I really resonate with this. I resonate with like that era. That was like what I used to listen to in high school, and like, you know, like Uffy and Peaches and that Decepticon track by La Tigre. Those were things that I was like really like attached to, and I was like, these are the kind of vocals that I feel comfortable doing. I really love James Murphy, so I went with that style.
Love that. I love that kind of like, I don't want to say like, I don't want this to come off negatively, but like this imperfect kind of like vocal style. Cause I remember like, I was a big fan of Red Hot Chili Peppers and like read Anthony Kiedis's book. And he talks a lot about like being this imperfect singer, but obviously it just like totally worked for the band and became like this iconic sound. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with like, I think of like artists like Janis Joplin and all of those like really iconic vocalists. You know, and I think there was like a lot of emphasis on perfection in like the 2010s where everything had to sound like almost robotic. And I don't like that. I like more DIY, I like more rock and roll. I like that kind of stuff. So it just worked out for me in that way.
Yeah. Feels like there's no better time nor place than somewhere like Dirty Bird to be like experimental and a little funky and just try it out. Which, speaking of which, I'm sure it is also something exciting and shouldn't be overlooked that this is your big debut on Dirty Bird. So how are you feeling about that?
It's been so awesome. You know, I think they've just like been so welcoming and so kind, and I really just like love everyone on the label. Just like, wow, everyone is so nice. So yeah, it's been really great, you know, and also just the community itself, like the people that tune into TV Party, some of which are here, and like it just seems like everyone is just so sweet. So I like really love it. I don't feel like there's like this sense of like pretentiousness that I need to like be cool and cold. I can be like myself and be fun and like it's welcomed. So it's been really nice, and I'm really like happy to be part of that community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think Dirty Bird, the best thing that they've always done is just embrace like the weird, embrace the weirdness that comes with this dance music universe. So it's always been a good crew of people. Let's talk about, and I'm going to bring this in as well. Let's talk about your music video because that also came out today. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I love this video. It is so funky and like out there.
It's
Talk
so
me
silly.
through. It is so silly, but like in the best of ways. I love their outfits first of all, and just like the whole vibe of who these folks are. Talk me through like the making of this video, the message behind the video.
So we were basically seeking out ideas from a number of video producers, just to get like an idea of what like directors wanted or saw for this song. And Vadim, who's based in Weston, Florida, had the most accurate visual representation of it. And yeah, I mean, it's funny. Their outfits are actually picks from Goodwill.
Oh my God,
so they were like,
great.
Yeah, all picked for like less than $5. And yeah, he had this idea. He wanted to do like a loop-based music video about a psychic attack, you know?
Yeah. I feel like it totally captures what you were saying earlier, just like feeling just like almost like discombobulated by like whatever, like the news, the headlines, like everything that was going on.
Yeah, utter chaos.
Utter chaos. I love that they're clutching onto their tiny puppies as they run around.
They're so funny. Oh my gosh, they're the sweetest people too.
I love it.
Yeah.
Where did you guys film this?
Weston, Florida. It was so random. It was so random.
I also like this underlying story of you being the presidential candidate. Is that right?
Yes.
It's a good metaphor.
I mean, we all have a dream, right? I would love to be president one day.
Is the world ready for Naela the president? I don't know, but we should prepare for it, right?
Yeah, that'd be great. I always wonder.
Love it. So, I mean, we won't watch the whole thing, but if anyone's out there who hasn't seen this yet, I highly recommend you go check it out because it is so fun. I know this is kind of a funny question, asking about what's coming up next for you in a time when like shows are a little like unsure, and obviously you just released an EP. So what is coming up next for you? Like should we be looking out for? More TV parties? What else is coming up?
Yeah, TV party. I guess Dirty Bird Campin' is happening this summer. It seems like a lot of outdoor events are happening, which is really awesome. So I'll definitely be doing some outdoor events. And then, more music coming in like the next few months, 3 months max.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've certainly been busy and making the best of your time in quarantine. So we'll try and drop your socials in here shortly. Thank you so much, Naela. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It is such a great moment to have you on here, and congrats on your EP.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you around. All right, everyone. So if you haven't checked out Naela's Psychic Attack, you really got to do it. The video is so fun. I'm actually just going to drop a URL in here right now in case you haven't checked it out. But yeah, new music this week. We've heard from Charlotte Adigeri. We've now heard the brand new stuff from Naela, Psychic Attack. I believe it's a 5-track EP to go check out. And let's continue on. I have one more track to share with you. That is another great release from this week. It is from an artist called Sophia Cortesis. It's always these names that I'm hoping I'm pronouncing correctly. Sophia Cortesis. I'm confident with that one. You guys tell me what you think. This track is coming out on Technicolor on Ninja Tune. And Sophia, I'm actually just now getting familiar with Sophia myself. So let me put up her name so you can see what it is, how it's spelled. So Sophia is a Berlin-based Peruvian artist. And this song is off of her EP called Frisia Magdalena. The title of the EP is a tribute to Cortez's own mother and her biggest inspiration, Frisia, who she quotes here, her whole life she's fought hard for the people of Magdalena, Peru. There's a really strong message of activism behind her EP, which is made up of 5 tracks. And this one in particular, she explained that it is inspired by thinking about the last hours of daylight, which kind of makes sense when you get the vibe of this track. I think it's really pretty. I'll turn the volume up a little. Thank you, Andrew. I think you got it. I do got it. You're right. I have to be a little more confident in my name pronunciations. All right, are you ready? Because I'm bringing in Mike to bop. I always love when I can catch Mike bopping in the background. For those who don't know, this is Mike, my wonderful producer on the back end. We just like to bop together.
You know the vibes.
Right. You know the vibes. All right, I'm kicking you out again. Let me know which one you guys think was your favorite track. We have this tune by Sofia Cortez, By Your Side. We obviously heard from the wonderful Naela and listened to her new lead single, Psychic Attack, off her new EP. And also listened to Charlotte Adidjari's Bear With Me. If you ask me, Naela's track is so fun, and I feel like honestly it comes at the perfect time because it's like that week where we're starting to get excited about live events possibly coming back, and Dirty Bird is like the chef's kiss of like fun, vibey festival music. So I'm really hoping that we'll be able to not only hear Naela's track, but also some other, go to a Dirty Bird festival and like hear all those amazing artists out live. But I also really like this song, Sofia Cortez. So this is like very much up my vibe alley. Some good tunes. All right, folks. Well, that is where we start to round out the very last. Did I cut out? My Wi-Fi is being a little crazy, which also maybe signals what I was going to say anyways. Rounding out this episode of the Newsfloor, thank you guys for joining. Thank you to Naela for tuning in and stopping by for a chat about her career and Psychic Attack, her new release on Dirty Bird. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you here next week. Come ready. We're going to be sharing the special guest on our socials, which of course are at Lost Resort TV or at the Newsfloor. And I'm Valerie, and it has been a fun time with you guys this week. Hoping for more good news. I will be sharing if there's any more good news about live events coming back. Thank you, Lev Markovich. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, everyone. Posy Snaps, you guys are awesome for being here. Let's see if there's somewhere we can raid. But in the meantime, it has been lovely hanging with you guys, and I hope everyone has a great Wednesday. We'll see you next week.